Hey, welcome to Guitar Knobs, the guitars, gear, noise, and nonsense podcast, hosted today by these knobs.
Tony Dudzik, Pick Guardian.
Hey, everybody, it's me, Todd Novak. Welcome to the Guitar Knobs podcast. We're thrilled to death that you're with us on the show. We're going to have a really good time tonight.
Yes, we are.
Because
why?
Because this is Tony and I. This is brotato chip night, broatmeal night, if you will.
I love broatmeal.
Yes. And we get to hang out and talk about stuff that we love, which is guitar gear.
Yeah. Is that what we do on the show?
That is what we do on the show. And we usually do it with somebody else. If only there... Oh, wait. Guest, who are you?
My name is Seth with Spindrift Audio.
Seth with Spindrift Audio. Yes. Can I say your last name?
Sure. If you
Duffey. Seth Duffey from Spindrift Audio. All right. I just had to get that out there. Where can people go see what Spindrift Audio does?
Instagram, obviously, and spindriftaudio.com. Probably the two places. I don't post a lot on social media, but I do post things when I think they're worth seeing.
Yes, excellent. You got a lot of fine things on your socials, and we appreciate you making the things that you do. We're going to find out all about it, including this lovely pedal in front of us called the Alpha Wolfe. So go take a peek at what we might be talking about if you can. And other than that, we got a couple of announcements we're going to cut through, and then we're going to get to tell the good stuff and talk to our friend Seth.
Excellent.
Announcement number one. I had a long discussion with our friend at
Sketchy Sounds.
Sketchy Sounds. Now, if you recall, we just recently gave away a couple of these Guitar Knobs branded boost pedals.
Bustier pedals.
Just boost pedals. Yes. I don't know what a Bustier pedal does.
Yeah, I know.
Pushes up the sound, I guess.
Both sides.
Yes. So, yeah, mid-scoop. Yeah. I don't know. Anyways, let's get out of here. So, we got quite a few people who said, hey, I would really like to have one of those pedals. And I said, well, maybe we can work something out. I talked to Sketchy, and we're going to put that together.
Oh, cool.
That's right. And what we're going to do is we're going to do a pre-order.
Okay. That helps. That way you know how many parts to order.
That's right. We're not going to it's going to be easier, or I don't know if it's easier, but what you need to do is, and we'll do a social post about this too, but what you need to do is just send me an email, Todd@theguitarknobs.com. Tell me that you want one. They're going to be $75. That includes free shipping.
Oh, that's excellent.
And yeah, so he just wants to get them in the hands of the listeners, and I think that that's awesome. So I just need to get a list of people. I'm not involved with the monies or the shippings or anything like that. This is all going to Sketchy Sounds. So,
okay.
But I just want to get him the list. So if you are interested in that, if you want one of these, shoot me an email, Todd@theguitarknobs.com. And in the subject, it would help if you said boost. Just put boost. BOOST. Okay?
It's like a ghost.
Except different.
Boost.
Shoot. Anyways, I'm really excited about that, and I'm really grateful to Sketchy Sounds for putting that together for us. He was more than happy to, and we're really thrilled. And you get to I think you get to pick a color if you don't want orange for some reason.
Why wouldn't you?
I don't know, but he wants to make it as flexible as possible. Once we put you in contact with him, he's going to take good care of you, okay? So
that's cool. It's a great sounding pedal, too.
Send me an email, Todd@theguitarknobs.com, subject boost, okay?
Boost.
Second thing, we got a little bit of, where did my window go?
I don't know.
Got it?
I don't know. I don't run this computer.
Where'd my doggone window go? Okay, here it is. So we're going to have somebody on the show in a little bit, and it's components and all kinds of interesting things. looks like interesting stuff that we would be interested in. And I've been trying to communicate with this said person, who's also named Seth, by the way.
Is that in order to build pedals? Does your name have to be Seth?
It might be. And I failed on my part. We got really, really busy with a rather big production that we're putting together right now. And I promised I was going to get to it, and I didn't. And so he sent me a little nudge of an email, and he said, "Hey, I'm just going to send you stuff. And we'll talk about it later. And I hope everything's okay. If you guys don't want it, all this stuff." And I said, please, accept my apology. I hope that this didn't come off as disrespectful, yada, yada, yada. And this is the kind of person this Seth person is. He's from Huntington Audio. Seth from Huntington Audio. He says, disrespectful? Ha! No worries at all, Todd. I know what it's like to have a lot of things going on at once. I'm happy that we've made a connection and look forward to my interview. From my perspective, this is a fun opportunity to talk shop, which I don't really get to do ever. And it's a great potential marketing moment if some new folks end up discovering these tools. He said, rescheduled, late, early, up, down, it don't matter. It's a win for me. And I just really appreciated that.
Oh, that's nice.
That's really cool. So thank you, Seth. We look forward to having you on the show. Other Seth. You're already on the show, Seth.
Yes.
Seth, say hi to Seth.
Yes. Also, I wanted to call attention to the Builder pop-up that we mentioned.
Oh, yes.
That's at Jack's Guitarcheology in East Nashville. With builders like Hagtronics, Red River, Kroll Devices, Equits, Monkey Riot, Stringjoy, Rose Electric Audio, Dismal Axe, and...
It's tiny.
That's very small. I'm trying to read it. And
Messiah Guitars.
And I'm sure many, many others. But that is happening on November 3rd in Lebanon, Tennessee. So those are a lot of great builders, and some of them have been on our show. Some of them are about to be on our show. Red River. And so go check it out. Have some fun in Nashville, and tell us all about it.
You'll be glad you did.
Yes. Those are my set announcements. Oh, wait, we're giving away some shirts tonight, too.
Are we?
Yes. From Footloose Effects.
Gotta cut loose.
Yes.
Foot loose.
All right. What's going on in our music world this week? Go ahead, Tony. Then we're going to check in with Seth.
Okay. Well, thank you, Todd, for
Seth,
letting
are
me...
you alive?
I'm here.
I know that was a lot of announcements. It was. I'm sorry.
It's more than normal.
Do you have any announcements, Seth?
Oh, I don't have any announcements. No.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm good for now.
Yeah.
Did you ask if I had any announcements?
Do you have any announcements, Tony?
No, I don't.
Great. Go ahead.
In my music world this week, every day, hundreds, if not thousands, of little things come across the internets to my attention in my various feeds. And the one that really caught my eye, I just love this, and I'll go into why I love it. But it is, it's from David Gilmour in a concert in Italy last month.
Interesting.
And David, in the middle of...
Did he get the boot or something?
No. Almost.
Geography joke.
Yeah, that's funny. I'm going to get you the Fisher-Price world map next. In the middle of Comfortably Numb, he breaks a strap on the guitar. Now, it's not just any strap. This is a strap that was owned by Jimi Hendrix, and his wife bought it for him. And he's singing
Jimi Hendrix
along.
Wasn't married?
No, David Gilmour's
Oh,
wife bought it for
got
him.
it.
Must you interrupt?
Hey, I'm just trying to get the story
Jimmy
straight.
was a ladies' man.
I'm getting the story
Come on.
straight.
But anyhow, so it was a strap previously owned by Jimi Hendrix.
Yes.
David Gilmour uses it all the time now. His wife bought it for him. It's a great video. If you, we'll get it posted, but if you just do a YouTube search for David Gilmour breaks strap, it's the greatest thing because he is such a professional. I mean, he's there and he's singing along, and you can tell he panics a little bit, reaches down, tries to put the strap back on, but it's not going anywhere. So he calls his tech over, and his tech brings him over another guitar just in time to go into the solo.
Wow.
I mean, it's the greatest thing. So here's why I like that. One, no matter what level guitar player you are,
right,
whether you're just beginning or a touring professional musician, something's always going to happen, and it happens at the worst possible time.
Yes.
Two, no matter how big of a musician you are, you have superstitions and or talismans that you rely on, or at least gives you a mental edge. In this case, it's Jimmy's strap, probably soaked with Jimmy's sweat, and now that's David's sweat. Well, not maybe not.
Okay.
And three, a real professional doesn't sweat it. He just kind of shakes it off a little bit and goes bam right into that.
It's all on backing tracks anyway. So
no, this is not on backing tracks. And I would say. I dare to say that the solo in Comfortably Numb is it's got to be in the top 5 guitar solos of all time.
Yeah, for sure.
And but you just have to
probably
have
top
to,
3 actually.
Maybe the top 2. Maybe the top 1.
Anyways.
Anyway. But if you get a chance, check out that video.
And Corey Feldman's right there too, so.
Okay. Jeez. You make things so difficult on me, Todd. Mm-hmm. Anyhow, but I just love that. I mean, and I see a lot of clips and things that come across, but this one just stood out this week for me.
That's a good one.
Yep.
All right. Let's see, Seth. What's going on in your music world this week that maybe doesn't include building your pedals?
Well, I mean, the first thing is something that's not going on, and that was Jane's Addiction this weekend that I was supposed to see in San
So
Francisco.
brutal. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That was so heartbreaking.
Yeah.
That's terrible. I'm a lifelong Jane's Addiction fan, and that was so hard to watch.
Yeah. Yep.
Awful.
Yeah. But beyond that, so I've been trying to get a couple more guitar amplifiers as I've been trying not to be too pedal related, but as I'm building stuff, just to be able to test on different things.
Sure.
So one of the things, I'm also buying stuff that's not working and fixing it up. But one of the things I bought within the last little bit is an old, early to mid 80s Carvin, little small amp for one of those small Mesa Boogie 1x12s. But what was interesting about it to me was it's a hybrid tube solid state amp, but it has an Electro Voice EVM 12L in it, and it's in perfect condition. I have this weird thing about Electro Voice speakers. I'm primarily a bass player. One of the first bass cabinets I ever built was with a EVM 15B speaker, and I mean, they still have them, but back in the day when you bought the speaker, it come with plans and you could build your plans to make these cabinets. So I think what I'll probably end up doing with this guy is, I recapped it and it sounds pretty good. And but I'll probably steal the speaker out of it and make a separate enclosure so I can use it separately from the amp and just test it out with different heads and stuff. And then throw some other speaker in it. So
that's cool. That's a very clean speaker. I mean, that is. Yeah. I mean, it's borders on PA type speakers.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's why for the bass speakers too. That's why I love that the 15. I've had that for since high school. It still sounds great.
That's cool. Yeah,
that's
the old Electro Voice speakers. Those are actually pretty pricey.
They are. They seem to hold value. I think you can still buy them.
I mean, I don't know about the bass ones, but I know guitar ones are.
I don't think. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not sure if they still sell the bass one. I know they sell the guitar one, and it's not cheap. The new ones.
Yeah, well, I mean, even the older ones. If you find old ones are.
Yeah, and actually that was one of the main reasons why this this little amp excited me, because the price with that speaker, and it was too hard to pass up.
Yeah.
Excellent. We'll learn more about your bass leanings in your interview.
We'll expect a full explanation.
Yes.
What went wrong in your life to make you a bass player?
We love bass players. We do. We've had a lot of bass players on.
They're good at carrying gear.
Yes. Excuse me, I need to order another coffee here. Hang on. Hey, bass face. Anyways,
two.
Yes. So in my world this week.
Oh, Todd, how about you?
Well, thanks, Tony.
I almost forgot.
So the last thing you want to do, no, not the last thing. The last thing, there are several things that might be the last thing. But close to the top of that is having to spend money on things that don't actually make noise. In this case, I was having a problem with my power source. And so I had to try to find a replacement for it.
But correct me if I'm wrong.
What?
Your old one was making noise.
It was making noise, yes.
So it shouldn't make noise.
It shouldn't make noise.
But you said something about
You know what I
spending
mean.
on money.
You know what I mean. So they're expensive and stuff, especially if you're trying to put together a slightly bigger board.
Yeah.
Mine's not ridiculous, but
It's respectable.
it's respectable. Yes, and so I went on the quest to find the right power source, and I was struggling. I got a couple of suggestions, very strong suggestions, especially from Rob Chafe, naturally. And I was I started to go down that path, and then I realized that though I had a one spot CS6, the True Tone CS6, on my smaller board, and the noise issues that I was having, I basically tried to run it through that, and I was like, this one isn't doing that. I'll just get the CS12.
Oh.
The big one.
Yeah.
I wanted just some more flexibility.
Cha-ching.
Not too bad.
No?
It's sub $200 right now.
Oh, that's not bad.
For a 12 output
Yeah.
power source. I mean, the Strymon Zoom is $300 for 9. Anyways, respectable unit for sure.
Yeah.
As I was about to go do that, I saw a social post. I was literally just about to go buy the 12. And it's been in production since we've been on it, well before we were even doing this. So pre-2016, this was a mainstay. Mm-hmm. And lo
and behold,
there was a True Tone Pro.
Okay.
11. It's a whole new line.
Oh.
They just uncomplicated the 12. The 12 had all these different variables for, like, if you want this and that and the other thing, blah, blah. And I think most people said, can you just make them like 9-volt variable? And that's what they did. That's essentially what this is. This is the first day it's available. And I got one.
Wow.
Ordered it straight away. I was like, yep, it's $212 or something like that.
Now, is it
Which is
flat?
I hate saying that out loud. It makes me throw up in my mouth just because I don't have that. That's not laying around money that I have.
That's a lot of 9-volt batteries.
It's a lot of money to never see it.
Now, is it the same size?
Yeah,
or
it's the same size. They just
no. I mean, it's like the CS6
as the CS12
or as a 12, but not
It's
the
a 12.
12. The 12 or the 6 is the
6
flat
is real
one.
skinny. Fits
Yes.
under the Metro.
Okay,
the
got it.
pedal train Metro
Right.
and Nano.
Yes.
Great power source. But this is the bigger one. It's going to go on. I've got a Fender, that Fender aluminum,
Right.
the bent aluminum pedal board.
And it
So,
fits in there.
anyways, it'll fit there, and
Cool.
it's going to work. And I'm crossing my fingers, it's going to do the thing I needed to do. But
I'm sure it will.
it was just I was minutes away from buying almost a 10-year-old pedal or a
And you
10-year-old power supply, and I got the one that came out today.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean,
That's all right.
yeah, not too bad for something I really didn't want to do.
Well,
anyways,
but it'll last you a lifetime.
We'll see. I hope so. Anyways, without further ado,
Yes.
when I get that plugged in,
Yes.
I'm actually going to order a couple more of our favorite patch cables. What are they?
I believe they're called Tour Gear Design patch cables.
That is correct. I found out that I need some more S cables.
The one that
S-shaped
goes to
cables.
the side to the top, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
and I need two different lengths of those because I think I've only got a couple, and they've got a 4-inch and a 6-inch, something like that.
You're in luck.
Because they got all of that.
They've got C shape, S shape, all the lengths that you could ever possibly need.
That is correct.
And then some.
And I get to use a code for the coupon.
Well, you're going to load up your cart, right?
Yep.
You're going to go to the checkout. You're going to go to the part that says coupon code. And you're going to enter in the guitar knobs, all lowercase, all one
I'm
word.
going to save 15% on my order.
15%.
That is correct.
And you're going to get them fast.
I will.
They come out of Canada, but man, it's lickety split.
Yep. So we want to thank Tour Gear Designs for sponsoring our 4 on the Floor. Tony?
Let me get a little bit of this.
1, 2, 3. 4 on the floor. All right. Seth Duffey, Spindrift Audio. Go ahead.
All right, so I'll turn this around a little bit because I'm actually not that much of a pedal person, even though it's partly what I do. And being a bass player, I could have 0 pedal on the floor.
True.
And be totally fine. I will give you 4, but let me give you a little bit. For me, what I have for my setup when my band was playing, so I have a Sansamp RBI, and then I put that into a power amp, a QSC power amp. I feel like it's the absolute best combination. And then I have a dual cabinet which has 2 15-inch Eminence Capelites, and it's like an old. The cabinet's more like an old school, probably like exit stage left era Getty style cabinet. And if that's all I had, I would be completely fine. But
in this case,
I will give you some pedals. Yeah. So the first one, very, very unexciting, but a Polytune. And if
that's the TC Electronics Polytune.
Yes. And
Is
if I only
full
had
size or mini?
I think it's the little mini one.
Okay.
It's probably one of the first.
I love that pedal. I have that pedal. I love that pedal.
Yeah, I think it's the first. It was probably the first generation. It's the white one. I have red-green color blindness, so the LEDs on it kind of suck in a way, and I think they fixed all that. So, from a distance, I can't tell the difference between a red and a green LED, unless they're both on and next to each other. Yeah. So some of that's a little bit annoying. But if I only had one pedal, that would be it.
Got it.
So yeah, that's the first one. The next one is the EBS Multicomp. So that for me is pretty much when I'm playing bass is always on. It's set really subtle, and mainly it's just, I don't know, it helps me out. So if I accidentally hit something too hard, then nothing goes crazy.
And that's just a compression.
Yeah, it's compression. Yeah. I think it's a bass specific.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. It's got a thing called mode, which gives you tubism.
Yeah. And I keep that in the tube mode. And to be honest, though, it sounds really good on guitar as well.
Interesting. That's made out of Sweden.
Yeah, they do great stuff. And so that one is always on for bass. I was playing guitar the other day, and I was like, that sounds great.
Oh wow!
So it's more. I think when playing live, it was more. I guess kind of a safety thing. Just allows me to be worse of a player and not have to worry about notes being too loud or whatever. So
it's got a little switch if you got active pickups. It looks like too, huh?
Yeah, I think there's something on the side
cool.
for that. Yeah, it's a great pedal. I've had that for years, and it's never.
It looks like it's built like a tank.
Yep. Yeah, it's great.
$229 at Sweetwater, everybody.
Buy 2.
So the next one I have is an overdrive pedal, so like a bass specific overdrive. It's something I built. It's something I built for myself. So it's an Edward Gorey themed pedal that's mostly it's a tube screamer, just a little bit more bass specific. Sounds great. In the shows that we would play, I might have it on for like a minute or two max. It's something that is just for a certain part of a song. Like I said, I could go without, at least bass wise, I could go without the pedal board. So just for a part of a song or something, just to bring something out or to fit in a different way in the band.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, it's a great pedal. I've made a couple of those like variations for people. And like I said, it's not that exciting. It is pretty much just a tube screamer with a couple tweaks to make it a little bit more bass friendly.
And so, can you explain the tweaks to make it bass friendly?
Well, so for me, it's adding a little bit more so that you get a little bit more bass frequency through without it getting distorted, and then having the ability to actually mix the signal. So basically, like a wet dry mix, so you can adjust the amount of
right, like baking.
Yeah. And again, like with the speaker cabinet having two 15s, you're getting kind of a natural distortion from the fact that 15s are not going to handle all the frequencies, so a full range. So I don't need that much of a sound. And for me,
why don't they just make a 30? It seems so inefficient.
I think they did at one point. Evie made some.
I think voice of the theater. Yeah, I think that they use those as giant subwoofers.
Really?
I think
Wow.
I think so.
I remember they had instruction sheets, and I remember that it was basically like 2 4x8 sheets of plywood, with 2 feet across, and it said, "Warning: when you build this thing, you won't be able to lift it. It's so heavy."
Yeah.
So
Wow.
I think they did make those.
Amazing.
Yeah, and then the final pedal. I'd switch between them. It would either be a flanger or a phaser. And again, for me, this is something that's probably used.
Which one? Which one?
It's a 45-degree phaser.
Okay.
So it's one that I built. I believe it's probably stolen from the MXR style. So an FET based phaser. Just subtle, and for me, that's just enough. And maybe even sometimes the overdrive and the phaser are on.
Yeah.
But
Well,
wouldn't
46 degrees is just it's just it's an extra touch. A touch too much.
Yep. And again, like that would only be used for maybe just a little little bit in the song, and that's all I would use it for.
I dig it. Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, there we have it. Okay, now we have this. We're switching to the thing that we had, and now we're going to have something new. We're going to learn all about Spindrift and the things that you do, why you do them, how you do them, who you do them for, etc., etc. And we have in front of us, to go into great detail, the Alpha Wolfe. And
Yes.
Is this your latest thing that you built?
It's the latest thing that's kind of out there. There's definitely stuff that I'm working on, but yeah, that's the latest. I guess if you want to call it a release.
Okay.
That's what that would be. Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
before we deep dive into this, I think it would be good to know. Like, I mean, when you go to the website, everybody, you're gonna be like, okay, well, I wasn't expecting much of this. Some of this. You build quite a few different things, and they all seem to be of a bit more of a bespoke nature in the sense that you're not just putting things in normal boxes and painting something on it.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I think this pedal is actually more different from everything else that I've worked on before.
Yes, this is much more, if you can call this conventional. It's much more conventional than several of your other things. But before you built this, you obviously put a lot of thought and effort into the craft of the things that you're doing. Tell us a little bit about how you arrived at your stylistic approach.
Yeah. So, I've always done electronics basically since I was a kid, and have played music for quite a while. and made audio, pedals and whatever else. I don't know, at least 15 years ago when the band that I was in was really starting to play a lot more, I wanted some gear. And so I really got more serious about it. At the same time, too, my brother's a very accomplished producer, mixing, mastering engineer. And so I was building stuff for his studio as well. So you'll see a lot of stuff it's guitar or bass pedals, but then it's also DI boxes and Iron Giants and stuff like that for recording studios. And so yeah, it really started for me building things for myself, and then be like, I'll put this on Facebook or Instagram, and then after a while decided, well, maybe I'll see if people have interest in this kind of stuff. And I guess also with that too, I have a CNC machine, so a lot of
you do.
Yeah, a lot of the stuff that I do, whether it's prototyping like PC boards with the CNC or making enclosures, was really doing like really custom stuff for people. If it's a DI box or something, or really custom pedals with on the CNC, and I love doing that. It's super fun. It's definitely not profitable, but it's a lot of fun, because you spend 10, 20, 30, who knows how many, not 10, 20, 30, 40 hours on a pedal, and can't sell it for basically more than minimum wage. But it looks good.
It's a labor of love.
Oh, it absolutely is. Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, to say that too, I'm a very small, this is essentially a hobby. In what you were asking, well, this pedal looks a little bit different than that, and that's kind of a conscious choice of actually trying to make something that's more productionalizable, and having fun with that, and still not stopping doing the other stuff, but trying to find that balance where being able to do something really cool for an artist I really like. But then also, if other people want this, it's not taking me 40 hours a pedal to do that. So that's really where that mix is.
Right.
So yeah, it's trying to find that balance of growing into something that you can make more than 2 or 3 of something, but not getting too far away from actually making stuff that I think is really cool.
Well, you do put the imagination to work with these pedals. If you just go to the actual website, okay, which is where we're kind of sitting right now. On the front, in the home area, you're going to see a smattering of things. But if you go into the pedals area specifically, you're going to be delighted, because it's clear you like putting your personal interests into your work.
Yeah. And it's really fun getting to, having people reach out and be like, I have this idea, for pedals that I wouldn't have thought about.
Yeah.
I'm a huge Rush fan, and someone reached out and said, "Can you do a Clockwork Angels pedal?" And out of all the albums, it's not my favorite artwork, but that pedal turned out to be one of my most I love how that one looks. Jim Ward from Sparta and At the Drive-In reached out to me, and I was like, oh my goodness, I love your solo album. Let me do a pedal for you. So yeah, it's just fun, and it's fun. It's doing that mix of,
and that's the Daggers.
The Daggers, yeah, that's his latest solo album, which is just phenomenal.
Yeah, so when he said Seth, for the people, for the audience, not directly at you, Seth. When I mentioned when you said the CNC machine, I said yes, you do, because you really go the extra mile as far as like, okay, what is this going to evoke when you activate it? And that's a big difference than just activating it, because you've got cutouts, you've got backlighting, you've got layered cutouts and themes, and it's really fun.
It is fun, but I also, I don't want it to be just all visual. So they really do. I hope they really do all sound good. I have a couple kind of core circuit designs that I use in these things. So whether it's an overdrive or phaser or whatever, they can be built around that.
Right.
But as I'm saying too, I'm trying to move a little bit more so that I can also do a little bit more production stuff. So yeah, it's a combination of that, and then being able to do like the DI boxes and stuff is a lot of fun because get to do a little bit of woodworking with that as well.
I mean, yeah, it's delightful to see some of these. You mentioned Rush. You've got the Starman Phaser, which if you're a Rush fan, I mean, I don't know how you can't have this pedal. It literally, the whole star lights up. That's amazing.
Yeah, and so, some of these too. I think with that one, it's not a product you can buy because I don't think I definitely do not own the rights to that kind of stuff. So the most of these are things like that are definitely like one or two off pedals. I made one for myself and one for the person who was interested, and those ones get a little bit more complicated, but
yeah, but the spirit's there. And so if people, if you've got something that you're really passionate about and you're like, can you make this come to life? I think Seth might be the person to make that happen. Let's see some of the other ones you have in here. I particularly am fond of the Blackheart boost pedal.
Yeah.
Really cool idea with how you lit this thing up. Very, very cool. Tell us about that.
So I don't know if you guys know Envy of None. They are a band that Alex Lifeson is part of. And I made two pedals for the singer. She's an amazing singer-songwriter who's also in that band. And so that the Blackheart is lyrics off one of the songs from the Envy of None album. So yeah, it was fun. It was just fun because it was one of those. I don't know. Just it's like, oh, this would be something fun to try. Is some sort of backlit, but it's also has a center thing. I think it kind of only works because it's a one knob boost pedal.
Yeah,
that it works so well. But yeah.
Well, it's if you we talk about this all the time as guitar enthusiasts. Yes, we want things that sound awesome, but we also want things that are unique and celebrate things that we like in guitar and also outside of guitar. And when those things come together, it can be really fun.
Yeah. No, I agree. I do.
The Mandalore drive. I mean, come on.
Yeah, that was another. That was actually for. I built that one specifically for pedal of the day, and it was fun.
Too cool. Yeah. Well, in front of us, aside from all these other wondrous things that you're building, we have the Alpha Wolfe, which is, I think, the first of its kind to come through our doors. This, Tony and I think we used it wrong. And we had a phone conversation where I was trying to delicately mention, like, I don't know if we did it wrong or if it's broke, but I think it was our fault because I played it again this week, and then I saw, oh, okay, now I get it. So why don't you tell us a little bit about the Alpha Wolfe, and then we'll have a chat.
Yeah. So, well, I'll give you a little bit of background. So for those of you, Emily Wolfe is a singer-songwriter, guitarist. I think I had found out about her through YouTube. It was either a Rig Rundown or I think it was when her Epiphone model got released. And I was like, how do I not know who this person is? And I just fell in love with her music. If you haven't heard her, go listen to her. Go see her live. I mean, writing the songs, playing guitar, she uses her pedal board like another instrument. Singing and doing everything, being a front person, and most of that with her eyes closed, and it's humbling. So yeah, I built her a pedal. There's I think there's one on that the list of pedals. I was like, I love her stuff. She was playing.
It's the Wolf Drive.
The Wolf Drive, yeah, and just kind of out of the blue made her a pedal. Because her sound was fairly close to the sound I thought of that overdrive, and got it to her, and then just kind of said, hey, if you ever have something any pedal that you can think of that's something fun, let me know. And because I think for a lot of pedal pedal makers, most of what we do is not very exciting. It's you tweak a couple capacitors and call it something new. And I'm guilty of that too. I think that's most of what happens. And I don't know, a couple weeks or months later, she sent me a couple videos with this. Well, I can kind of give you an idea of what it is. It's a small mixer, so probably like a coffee shop style mixer. It's late 90s, early 2000s. A large company that also builds pianos and motorcycles. And she plugs her guitar.
Harley Davidson?
That's the one.
Yes.
Plugs her guitar directly into this thing in kind of a studio setting. So it's not the biggest thing, but it's not really convenient. And so it's a single channel. It has at least the channel that she plugs into. Single channel. It does mic, guitar, instrument level, and then line level. So it's got this really weird, flexible system, or flexible, like input level, 3-band EQ, compressor, and she uses that just to get kind of, I would say, weird sounds, right? And it's a single channel of a mixer, and it sounds weird. It actually has the original has a proprietary DSP distortion, which we changed out. I can talk about that later. So yeah, it's something kind of unique. I think in terms of the closest thing to it would be the JHS color box, but only in that it's a single channel of a mixer. So whereas that one I think is this kind of a 70s analog style, this is a 90s to 2000s like solid state single channel with a whole bunch of flexibility, a huge amount of gain in each region, and I can talk about like the different, I guess, areas of the pedal, the different stages of the pedal.
So we got the preamp, EQ, which is so in the preamp. I mean, you can tell us all about it. We'll list them out. So in the pre, you got gain, overall gain, and compression.
Yep.
In the EQ, you've got your high, low, and mid, as well as a little clip indicator in the case that you are, blowing this out.
For good or bad.
Yeah, and then you got a little toggle for 80 hertz. You can tell us about that in a second. Then we have two gain stages. We have a howl and a growl. The howl is silicon-based, and the growl is germanium-based. And then you got a mid EQ. That's where I found the magic happening personally for me. So you have a mid-level, and you also have a mid-Q, so you can move that around. And that had just tremendous effect on the sound that was coming through.
Yep.
So that's a lot to work with. What's go ahead and tell us about whatever you want to tell us about on this.
Yeah, I'll get to all that. Let me start with, so after she had described what she wanted, I'm like, okay, give me a couple weeks, see if I can do this. And for me, in kind of the geekery part of this, I was transitioning from using EagleCAD to KeyCAD. If anyone is still using EagleCAD, by the way, just save yourself some grief and move to KeyCAD. It's kind of a life changer.
Okay.
This is like circuit board design and schematic designs.
Right.
And at the same time, too, was like I was saying, trying to productionalize things a little bit more. So moving to much more surface mount and that kind of thing. So anyways, maybe kind of the boring stuff, but I had a bunch of goals for this, and it was that taking that one channel, trying to put it in a pedal, try to keep it as small as possible, which it's still fairly sizable. Having it run on 9 volts, which is a big thing because this is kind of like studio gear. It's a mixer. It's not studio, but so internally it runs on 30 volts, so plus and minus 15. So figuring how to do that without having some crazy plug, had to be like true to the original. So it had to sound like, whether the original sounded crappy or not, it needed to sound like that. And then, like I said before, moving to something that I could do on a larger scale. So that was that. If you open the thing up, it's got a lot of stuff in there. I'm a software developer by trade, and so I kind of created this way in a little bit where I have a bunch of little daughter boards. So if you want momentary switching, that's a daughter board. The 15, the plus and minus 15 volt supply as a daughter board, so I can switch these out and use them on other pedals if I want to. So yeah, this was a big learning experience for me in the way of just trying to really make things more approachable. So yeah, that's kind of the geeky part of it. As far as the musical part of it, what ended up happening kind of in the development of this is that if you played it, you may have noticed that there, like, each section has just a massive amount of gain, and part of that is because it's got a large internal voltage in it, and it's also it's meant for weird levels. You can plug a microphone into at least the original, or you can plug line level in, which are very different. So it's not necessarily designed to do what it's doing, for good or bad, but it has a really unique sound. So you can really smash the sound into the EQ level. The EQ level is really flexible, and I had asked Emily, like, well, how would you describe it? And the way she is, like, her quote was, "It's a scrappy sound that has a lot of attitude." And I think the EQ is a really big thing. So recreating those parts of it. Obviously the distortion, which was a big part of the mixer. I can't duplicate some proprietary 90s DSP, so we settled on kind of a hard clipping, so probably something close to a rat style, and just two variations of that, and having two channels. And so, throughout the process, I sent her a number of prototypes. I made myself a number of prototypes. And if you watch any of the videos of her, which I would recommend some of her, like, pedal board stuff, she is super focused on EQ. And so one of the things was that as we got through this, she's like, well, I'd really like it to cut through at the end. And so that's where that mid boost scoop happened. And I kind of stole that from I have another pedal that I'm working on, which is an 80s style bass EQ. And so that actually worked really well as like a variable mid EQ. So just basically to be able to have her guitar cut through and boost that. And as you noticed, it can be a lot. It can do it has a lot of boost, and I can really tweak the sound quite a bit.
Yeah, it's really neat. Now, when we first did it, as I mentioned, we just ran it straight through, and Tony and I both kind of had the same idea of, like, let's try this with. Put it in front of the pedals. Let's put it in back of the pedals, and that's for me, anyways. That's where I sought to like really do the stuff, and having that drive section. I wasn't using it as a main drive for the guitar signal as much as a more colorful boost section coming out of the pedal.
Yeah.
So between that and the parametric EQ, the mid and the EQ section, and then messing around with the compression, I was like, wow, I can literally make some of these pedals sound completely different, but still maintain their original character. And to me, that was like, ooh, that's really, really helpful.
Yeah. I think I'm still learning on trying to figure out how to sell this thing and how it's supposed to be used, because it is unique. And it got because I was asking a couple of people who've used it, and then asked Emily, like, what how she's been using it, and a lot of it has been in the studio. So it got used on her last album, and then an album that she was producing at Sweetwater Studios, and they've been using it on bass a lot too. So I think I think that maybe its kind of sweet spot is in maybe a more controlled environment, maybe not a live environment, but being able to sit there and tweak it and either have it drive something else or really shape the sound, because it has a lot of abilities to shape things.
Yeah. I think also this could be very useful for acoustic guitars. the drives maybe not so much, but having, your input gain and compression, and especially with the parametric at the end, it reminds me an awful lot. When I would do live gigs, I used a SansAmp acoustic DI.
Okay.
And it has a lot of those features, and it really allows you to kind of tailor or work around problems in a room and things like that. So, yeah, you were saying for bass, definitely. For acoustic guitars, I could see that this working really well for that too.
Yeah. One of the things I think after I'd completed is like I really should have put an XLR on there.
That's a
well,
great
actually,
idea.
Yeah. So who knows? Maybe if there's enough interest and if there's another version that comes out, yeah.
I mean, honestly, if you did this without the two gain stages in it, even for like guitar, just on your board, that would be super helpful, super useful.
Yeah. I think it's a good sculpting tool.
It's also interesting because you're obviously following the track of how it looks on the actual mixer, which is a little weird because when you plug in, my end's going into the right and it's coming out on the left, but the actual signal path is reversed from that.
Yeah. I'm always left to right, so why ins are on the left and outs are on the right? I think I just switch it to the top of the pedal and then it won't confuse people as much. Honestly, it's just mostly just following convention in that state, but yeah.
So that I was trying to figure out. I was like, wait, is the compression happening at the end because of this? But no, it isn't. It's happening first.
Yeah, it's exactly as far, as much as I could do it, it tries to duplicate the original as much. So
exactly.
It really is. Yeah. It's gain into that high pass filter, right into the compression.
Yeah. Cool. So is this something that is relatively difficult? Are you going to doing a whole bunch of these, or are these like really time consuming to make, or what's the deal there?
They do take a little bit of time, and to talk about, small time pedal builders like us, it really is, you get a handful of orders and you save up that money to buy more parts to make more of them. So it's just kind of feeding the machine.
There's 11 knobs on this thing. I mean,
yeah, and I think it's something I'm always, when you guys have guests and they have pedals that are very affordable, I just like, how do people do this? Anything that sticks through an enclosure, whether that's a pot or a jack or a knob, they're at least $1, right?
Yeah.
So, and maybe $2. And so when you look at that and you look at the number of knobs and you look at other people's pedals, you're like, oh, that was expensive.
2-foot switches, 3 LEDs, and a toggle.
Yeah. No, there. So yeah, I've done my best to try to make this as painless as possible. But to be honest, this thing has 7 op amps in it. It's a fairly complicated circuit. It's probably the most complicated thing I'd done to this point to try to figure out this thing, reverse engineer this thing, and get it as close as possible. It's hundreds of components, and for the pedal builder part of it, I try to get as much done through surface mount. And get all the resistors and the op amps done, but for someone like me who does things at such small scale, getting audio grade capacitors at surface mount is almost impossible. Just because the capacitors that are surface mount are meant for like power supply filtering, they don't work well for audio. So all of the capacitors, all of pretty much all the audio. Any capacitor in the audio chain is hand soldered after the fact.
Right.
So that stuff's not as fun. And to be quite honest, I think one of the reasons to move to surface mount is just to prevent human errors as much.
Sure.
You get one capacitor in the wrong place. it can change the whole pedal. Right. So, yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, like I said, another goal for this was to make this productionizable.
These are $250. That seems cheap for what? Not cheap. Let me rephrase that. That seems very approachable for what this is.
That was the goal.
Yeah. because this really can shape your sound pretty.
Yeah.
Not wildly in the sense of, oh no, it's going to be crazy. It's just the sheer amount of tweakiness you can do is really commendable.
Yeah, I would say it's priced to sell, not priced to make me money. And it's
Price to sell, not price to make.
You'll make it up in volume. You lose money. I lose money on every unit, but I'll make it up in volume.
It's got like 30 dB. You know?
Yeah.
Get it?
I mean,
that's a volume joke.
Yeah.
It's fun working with someone because like having someone like I'm a very small time pedal builder. As I said, I don't do as much social media because it just doesn't interest me. But I get to ride on her coattails, and to me that's a privilege to be able to do. So
I think you should check behind yourself, Mister, because you've got some coattails of your own, I'm sure.
Yeah. So, but hopefully more people will buy them, and then the more feedback can either.
Yeah. Okay, we were talking about like the size of this. Now, the way that we've been talking, it sounds like this is as big as a laptop. It's not. If you're familiar with the Fuzz War from Death by Audio, that's about the same size.
Yeah, I'd say that's about
It's just
right.
sideways. That's it. You can put it vertical on your board, but you might
it's
get a
tougher to
headache.
hit the switch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think even the bass muff. One of the bass muff is the same enclosure.
Yeah,
so
probably.
It's a little bit bigger, but if you open the thing up,
it's not ridiculous. It could have been
packed.
It could have been huge. So I think it's totally pedal boardable, and it's liveable too. You were talking about.
I like that
using
term, pedal boardable.
Pedal boardable. Yes, that's one of those words that I want to challenge like a Scottish person to say. Like purple burglar. They can't say it.
They can't say
Purple burglar. Yeah, there's all there's all kinds of videos on Scottish people trying to say purple burglar. Anyways.
There you go. There's another
Pedal boardable.
name.
All right, now we've last time we alienated our Canadian audience. Now we're going after the Scottish.
Yes, I'm not. I'm not. It's out there. I'm just relaying what's already out there. They're having fun with it too.
I like that.
Anyways, okay. So what do you got in the future? What are you cooking up?
I always have a bunch of stuff going on. I've got two different. I say that I'm a bass player. The bass pedals I never seem to finish because I have so many requirements for them. But I have an 80s style kind of exit stage left era thing that I'm working on for a bass pedal, kind of preamp-ish style pedal, and then another one from kind of the 90s era. And then just a bunch of other things that I've been playing with, and then more recently, not kind of randomly, but I was talking to Emily Wolfe again, and we were talking about anything else that would interest her, and it. If you watch, again, we're going back to the EQ because EQ is such a big thing for her. She runs a lot of her pedals, whether or not they're fuzzes or drives, overdrives. It's pedal and EQ, and it has a lot to do with the way that she wants to cut through. And so she's basically saying, can you stitch together an EQ with essentially an OCD? So that's what I'm working on now. I've sent her one prototype, which I think she really liked. It's the OCD is pretty close to a rat. It's got some little bit difference, but so I've been working on that and trying to keep it as a I think a more I think whereas this pedal is a very specific use pedal, I think this pedal will be much more of a general pedal, and for me also making it work on bass. So there's some tweaks in there that I'm doing so that it works really well on bass, and then having that EQ in there is just it's a 7-band EQ, and it's pretty amazing. It just the things it allows you to do and have it all built in one pedal is pretty nice. So I'm excited about that. Trying to get myself to get that finished, get the next prototype version, and then get that done.
Dig it. Now,
so, yeah.
You're a bass player. Tell us about your rig. What's your favorite? Actually, wait, no, stop. Don't do that. I got another question. If you who are clearly familiar with pedals and bass were to receive an invitation to go build for a pedal company, who would that be?
For a pedal company. Oh, that's interesting. I mean, I think for me, the one, there are companies that stand out as far as bass, and I would say that Sansamp is definitely one for me. They're like probably my favorite sound. I know that Dark Glass is, there's a lot of Dark Glass stuff, which this may sound. I'm very tired of that sound. I'm tired of all of like the glassy bass that's in heavy metal, and I feel like we're going to come back to this era and be like, oh, this just all kind of sounds the same. So for me, it's a little bit of the older stuff, the older sound, and so I guess I would say Sansamp, because I think their stuff to me is the sound that I really like.
I would agree with that. I mean, as we talked
Consider
about
it done.
Okay. Yeah, I'll tell you a funny story about Sansamp. This is back in the 90s, I guess, when they were still in New York. Well, maybe they still are. I can't remember. But they were, just on, I forget which street it was, somewhere around 30th. And I had been using one, and I looked them up. My wife and I had a New York trip, and so I go and I knock on the door for the Sansamp company, and it was like I was invading, some country that didn't want me. And finally they kind of calmed down because they thought I was, like some nut job, which I guess looking backwards, I guess they could have mistaken me for a nut job. But it ended up being pretty nice because I got to talking, and we were talking about some of the settings and the ways that I use their products. And, so it worked out okay. But initially it was just like, who are you and what are you doing here?
Yeah. I mean, because I've had this RBI. I mean, again, I could have nothing else, and that would be all I need. I really, actually, for me, maybe it's the software development, but that separation of concerns, having a like a QSC or whatever, like a touring style, just it's only an amplifier separated, and having a bass specific preamp it's better than any amp that I've ever played. And I've tried quite a few. I come home and bring home like an Ampeg or a Mesa Boogie, and you're at home and it just sounds great. And you go to the practice studio and you plug it in, and just it sounds terrible, like at a volume level. And most of them did to me. And so having a clean power amp with a preamp for me is just it sounds amazing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yes. Okay, so I was about to say, what kind of bass are you playing?
I have quite a few. Jazz.
Okay.
So my main, I have a number of different jazzes, like a 2000 American, a 99 Mexican, a Marcus Miller, which I just love.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a 78 Ibanez that's beautiful. Back when, I think before they got sued, so it'd be that lawsuit era.
Yes.
Of Ibanez, and that one
that would apply to our previous episode.
Ah, yes.
Yes, sleeper guitars.
Yeah,
go check it out, everybody.
Yeah, it is. My obviously being a huge Rush fan, Getty's number one. This is fairly close to that style with the maple fretboard and block inlays, black. So yeah, that's mainly it. I have a number of other ones, but those are my main my main.
Now I don't think I need to ask this, but do you own a copy of Geddy Lee's Big Book of Bass?
I have a signed copy of Geddy Lee's.
Oh,
not bad.
Listen to you, Uptown man.
I've been lucky enough to meet him twice.
Oh, cool!
Wow. You just keep getting better here, ringing the bell. Gee, Christmas.
Yeah, I mean, and by meet, I mean, get to kind of walk up, and I guess we got to shake hands.
Have you been in his wine cellar?
Oh, that would be fun. No, yeah.
Did you get to meet Alex?
I did, but Getty and Alex, yeah.
That's
so
cool.
On Vapor Trails tour and, gosh, what was the other one? I'm trying to remember when the other one was. Yeah, so just got lucky. And then I went to one of his book signings that was here in the Bay Area.
Neat. Very cool.
Stood in a very long line.
Yes. I feel sad for everybody that won't ever get to see them.
Oh,
live.
yeah.
My kids. Like we drive to school, and my youngest daughter Mary is like, she's in rush mode right now, and I'm like, hey, okay, let's go, let's do that.
I have. There's a book called, I think it's called Wandering the Face of the Earth, and it's this huge book that has literally every single Rush show ever. And I have most of my, back when we had ticket stubs, and so I went and put them in all the pages of the book, because I don't know how many shows I've been to, 30, 40 at least.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, there were tours like Counterparts, which I went to so many shows on that tour.
That's amazing. That's good to have something you love, you know?
Yep.
Speaking of that, Tony.
Yes, Todd?
What do we got?
Well, Todd, at this point of the show is a little game we play called Oh, Would You Rather?
Well done.
Thank you. I've been working
For
on
once.
it. I've been taking lessons.
Good.
I've been running it through the Alpha Wolfe.
Yes.
Did you hear that mid-scoop at the end?
I did. Yes.
Well, this Would You Rather, it kind of ties to something I was talking about earlier. So, you got your first really big gig.
Okay.
You're there and you're jamming and the band is hot and everybody's loving it. And you're getting ready to go into your big solo.
Yes. Oh, boy.
Would you rather
Yes.
break a guitar strap, and I'll go into further details, or break a string?
Well, why did you give us the would you rather before the details?
Just let me give you the details because it may change your mind.
You're supposed to. Okay, go ahead.
So the bad news is you break a strap. This is option one.
Okay.
The good news is maybe the sweaty bouncer off to the side of the stage sees this happening.
Yes.
And he comes up behind you, thrusts his arms out, and holds the guitar for you while you complete your solo.
Okay.
Now, see, that's kind of a mixed blessing now, isn't it?
Possibly, yes. That would be weird.
Option two, breaking a string. The good news, well, the bad news, the worst news is your guitar goes horribly out of tune, and you're missing your high E just busts, and you're trying to in your head remap that solo on the upper five strings. Or the lower five strings, I guess it would be. I guess if I'm looking down at it.
Whoever named that lower is just bananas. Anyways, go ahead.
Yeah. So, would you rather break a guitar strap and a sweaty bouncer comes from behind you and holds your guitar for you? Mm-hmm. Ooh. Or would you rather break a string, but you're so horribly out of tune, it doesn't matter. It sounds like jazz.
What? Jazz is great. What are you talking about? It sounds like jazz. I love jazz.
I figured you would. I've heard your solos.
Yeah, you snapped me out of my hand. Like, wait.
I've heard your solos.
Yeah, well, they sound like jazz. Played by two different people.
With two different hands.
Yes. Okay, go ahead.
Well, I mean, I'm not good at remapping stuff like that. I'm not really good at soloing either, but in this perfect world, I guess I have some skills.
Okay.
So I'm going to go with all my strings, but I'm going to have the bouncer come up behind me and hold the guitar for me.
Okay. I hope that bouncer's LeBron James because he's going to need some long arms.
Probably so. I'll have to suck in my gut a little bit, I guess. That's what I'm doing.
Okay. Let's see. Seth, how about yourself?
Yeah, same thing. I consider myself a proficient player. And no musical theory. So the idea of trying to map something is that's not going to happen. So, but I will say that I'm going to try to sit down on the stage before the bouncer comes out.
Yes. Pop a squat right there.
Yeah.
No touch.
Yes.
No touch.
Yeah, definitely the broken strap over the broken string.
Yeah.
Okay. Toddle.
I'm doing the strap for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm same way.
With or without the
I mean,
the bouncer.
I've had 2 broken strings that I can recall. I may have had a more than that, but that was awful. That was awful. In fact, I actually had on one show the low E, the bassy E, pop right out of the nut.
Oh.
Yeah. So that was really confusing because I'm like, it's still there. Why isn't it working? And I play a lot there. That's my home. And I couldn't go home at the time. That was awful.
That sounds horrible.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyways, so that's what I'm doing. The strap.
Strap, broken strap.
Yep, all 3 straps.
But are you using the bouncer?
Sure, why not?
Okay.
It'll be fun.
There you go.
Yes.
All right. So 2 with bouncers, 1 without bouncer.
And I would do a little Chuck Berry across stage, and he'd have to follow.
You know what that's called?
The duck walk.
That's right.
Yes.
I just checking to see. Seeing if you know your facts.
Man, you know I do some of the time. Go ahead, Tony.
Well, thanks, Todd, because at this part of the show is a special group of people we love to thank. These are our executive producers. Now, an executive producer helps make this show possible. How do you become one? Quite easy. Head over to patreon.com/the Guitar Knobs. Check out a couple different levels in which you can participate. Become a sponsor, a friend, a hero of the podcast. Each level comes with some very nice thank you gifts and opportunities to win giveaways. And I think we've got a few of those coming up tonight. But in addition to all that great stuff, there's one thing more. What would that be?
You're going to have a name of nothing.
Get it. That's right. You get to have your name read on the thing. So without further ado, special thanks to these executive producers: John Sebastian, Trevor Ellenberg, Cameron Pampas, James Bell, Brett Hogarth, Gregory Randall, Don Kloss, Ralph Gottschalk from Wonderful Audio Technology, Rusty Sneeden, Vader and Pedals, John Halverson, Rick Calhoun, Trevor Gunberg, Elad Mizrahi, Richard Kendall, James White, Justin Jones, John Esterly from Rare Buzzer Effects, Anthony Lathrop, Stefan Lamb, Michael Senchuk, Ken Sayers, Darren Gregory, Tom Barazin, Eric Merrow, and Plutone.
Oh, excellent.
But wait, there's more, Todd, because there's a special group of executive producers. We call them our Grand Poobahs. These are the creme de la creme, the top of the heap, the A number ones, and they get a fez to wear upon their heads whilst listening to the podcast.
Okay.
So special thanks to these Grand Poobahs: Anthony Gemalero, Billy Spitfire Unlimited, Bob Crouch, Brian Robison, Cody Foster, David Kaminga, David Tyndall, Enrico Fernando, Fox Hill Studio, Hex Matos, James Pennington, John Williams, LSJ Music Company, Matt Hart, Michael Van Zant, Michio Murakishi, Moon Guitars, Paul Von Eppinger, Sam Jett, Steve Keys, Tyler KC Rhines, Zach Oswald from Brandon Wound Pickups, and Pedro Vasquez. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I am pleased. I am pleased with all those names.
We love those names.
I would be even more pleased with more names.
I love more names.
We would truly love to have you aboard. And, we have all kinds of great things that we do.
Yeah.
I'm actually trying to work on getting some other gear made
Headgear?
for everybody. Possibly some hats and stuff.
Very
Might even
nice.
do another run of the hoodies.
Ooh, the
Yeah,
hoodies.
yeah.
Look at this one. This one's all worn out.
I know.
I've got my ratty one on
I
today.
know. I think it's probably due. So stay tuned about that. So let's see. Seth, we need to say a huge thank you for you sharing your time and your wares with us, and for making great stuff.
Thank you.
Where can people find the things that you're doing? Where can they get one of these Alpha Wolves?
Spindrift Audio on Instagram or Facebook, and then spindriftaudio.com. Yeah, if people have, if you want an Alpha Wolfe pedal, or you have some crazy idea for some custom pedal, let me know. It'd be fun to do.
I heard a requirement of getting a custom pedal by you is sending a picture of their own bass face. Is that in fact true?
I don't know. Is that something you want to get through the?
I think that should happen. You should require that. Do you have a pretty solid bass face?
I don't know. I feel like mine's probably pretty boring.
Did you practice a bass face like growing up as a kid? You know you did. Come on.
I don't know. Yeah. I think the one thing about being in the bass player is you can just kind of be, you're there kind of in the background. You get to watch other people. So, I don't know. I don't think I ever had really the most exciting bass face.
Has anybody ever bass faced you while you were playing? They're like, oh, they're tracking and they're going, oh, nasty. Oh, yeah. No?
I don't know. Yeah. You get the, what's the Paul Rudd movie? You get that kind of stuff. But now I'm blanking on the name of the movie.
Pick a Paul Rudd movie and put it in there. There you go. All right. Tony.
Head over to pickguardian.com. Check out the things that I do. What do? I make custom pick guards. How do you get one? Shoot me an email. Let me know what you're trying to do, what material you want, what pickups you're using. I might even have some good advice for you.
Excellent.
You know what? It's your chance to make your guitar even more yours.
Indeed. I do want to throw this out before I solicit my things. Tony, I've had just about enough of you doing the 4 on the floor, and I think we need to solicit other people to do theirs. Let me get a little bit of this.
I'm crying.
I know, but it might. I think we just need to freshen it up a little. So, listeners, shoot me an email with your version of that intro. Okay. How does it go, Tony? Come on. Just give it to me.
Let me get a little bit of this.
Well, okay. You know how it's supposed to go. Tony's mad now.
I'm crying.
Yes.
I'm laughing on the outside.
Shoot us an email.
Crying on
and
the
we'll
inside.
use it. How about that?
How are they going to record that?
Just on the phone. You just grab your
You mean you can record stuff on this?
Yeah, it's a magic piece.
Holy
of
cow!
Send us your own. Let me get a little bit of this.
Let me get a little bit of this.
Think you can top that? Send it to us. We'll use it.
Double dog dare ya.
All right. You can shoot me an email to send me those things. You can also DM me if you want to talk and share about the things that you're doing, what you like about the show, what you hate about the show. Make fun of Tony. Do whatever you want. Send that to Guitar Knobs at Guitar Knobs on Instagram.
Or
what?
Todd at the Guitar Knobs.
For email, Todd at the guitarknobs.com. Yes.
Yes, you know how to do that?
Email the Todd at the Guitar Knobs. Okay, well.
Who should we be listening to?
The Valentinos.
Oh.
Yes.
I know that band.
Yes. And then, Seth, do you have a band you want to plug?
Yeah. Zen Arcadia. Go look for the album Earthquakes.
Perfect. Zen Arcadia, Earthquakes. Go listen to that on your way home or when you turn this off. Hopefully you haven't turned it off by now. All right, everybody. We're so grateful for you out there. Have a fantastic guitar weekend. Subscribe!
Yeah.
I have a mic just on the headset.
Getting a little wind.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of wind coming out.
Okay, let me see here. Okay, is that any better?
Is that the bass trick where you flick the switch that doesn't do anything? I had a 66 El Camino that basically just drove by itself. I had to steer it once in a while. Is John still here?
I thought he was parked out front.
Did you shut the door?
I closed it.
Shut the door.
But
what do you got? The little fuzzy things you put over them.
The
Hamsters.
What's it called?
Yeah, hamster.
Duffey. That's a good, strong South American name. I don't know. There's probably somebody in South America called Duffey. Pointed to the sky with I have a finger extension that it's like double jointed, so it's extra long, and I go like a shotgun and go.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Well played.
Yeah, it's a good use of that.
I know.
I am in Davis, California, so it's fairly close to Sacramento, about an hour from San Francisco.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, is that right by UC Davis?
Yep, campus is walking distance from here.
Can you see Davis from there?
Oh man,
I could definitely see Davis.
I mean, I had to call it out last time, and I'm doing it again.
Yes.
Jiminy Christmas. Don't leave any low-hanging fruit
I
around.
love
He just
low-hanging
scoops
fruit.
it. He's the guy that goes apple picking on the ground. Never experienced an affront like that before. Oh, man. And then I blew him out. I pulled him back in and went, it was the best feeling ever. Oh, my God.
I love it.
Well, hey, Seth. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I mean,
Are you entertained yet? Do I amuse you?
Are you not entertained?
Funny like how?
Hey, interesting thing about Palm Springs. You know that there's a waterfall in the middle of Palm Springs? It's actually behind Frank Sinatra's old house. Hand to God, I swear on my life. I've been there, and it's got a big rock in the middle, so you can like jump off into the water's freezing. Even in the hot Palm Springs, that water's cold.
This must be deep.
Eradicator.
Hold on.
Oh, here comes a big burp right there. Plosives. But we weren't getting the plosives. It was more like a windy rubbing of sorts. Do you have like a big beard?
no, I do not.
Okay.
Do you have a small beard?
It's just no beard.
It's really full. It's just real small. Yeah. Headliner. Is that headliner?
Headliner.
Sure. Okay, we'll call it a headliner. Why did I think what that's called?
Yeah.
Had like a grease spot where his head was. Guy probably had like either a big giant thing of hair or was bald.
Oh my!
And I didn't realize that until I was trying to find something that fell down on a thing, and I was trying to get it, and I looked, and I was like, "What the heck is that?" And then I realized that was a really big guy driving this car before. Some large amount of hair or a bald pate, as they say.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Oh, not again.
They installed a vacuum whistle.
Oh, yes. I know of the vacuum whistle.
Which is, if you don't know what you're doing with a vacuum whistle, you will
Kill your car.
die your car. Yeah, unalive your car like real quick, and then you have to like let it. But you could just, I could be driving, and it'll go. How awesome is that?
It doesn't get any better.
It was like the guy who owned it before me said, "You know what I need? I need a better way to catcall anonymously, but not too anonymous because everybody will see my car." When I was a kid, we went there, and absolutely terrifying. They had a gondola that went from the top of this mountain all the way down, and it was the sketchiest thing, and it was just absolutely terrifying. It was fantastic because you could see Venus from there.
Oh wow!
But it
was kind of like a carny ride.
At the top, there was this tiny little gift shop, like an outpost.
Yeah.
And I got a little quote leather zipper side wallet that had like a cowboy hat and a star on it and stuff.
Wow.
Oh man, that was my first
Don't
wallet.
you wish you still had that?
That was amazing. I do wish I still had that.
I'll get you one.
Daggone it. That was neat. I didn't have anything to put in it, but it was my wallet.
Gotta be right.
There's got to be an El Camino Real.
That was the name of my favorite Mexican restaurant growing up as a kid. I mean, you don't ever grow up if you're not a kid. I mean, you know what I mean.
When you were a wee
It was
lad.
fantastic. It was like the best Mexican restaurant ever.
Is it still there?
I don't think so. I doubt it. I seriously doubt it. It was
Probably
great.
a cheat
No
cheese or
windows.
something now.
It was no windows. It was the whole thing. It was muraled with like all of the booths on that surrounded the walls were like alcoved.
Oh yeah.
And it was all muraled and painted. It was like I was in like a pasture I was in a villa in. All right.
All right. Should we do
Let's
a
do a podcast. Yeah. How about we do that?
Hey kids, let's put on a show.
And away we go.
Well, that's it for these knobs. Please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/theguitarknobs. Visit our website at theguitarknobs.com for all of our past episodes, 4 on the Floor blog, and other good stuff. You can connect with us on social too at our Facebook page and share your gear and stories on our Facebook group. Also, be sure to check out our Instagram at Guitar Knobs. Catch you next time.